and welcome to the 2D podcast. My name is Ronan.
My name's Dave.
We're two kids trying to get into the animation industry.
Yeah, hire us.
Yes, or else we'll find you. Nah, just kidding.
Well, please, if you don't want to hire us, please send us your address.
Yes, that way we can still find you. No, seriously, we won't do that.
We won't do that.
We're just too.
Please hire us.
We're two good kids. All right,
We're good.
so all awkwardness aside, how we've been so far, Dave?
It's been pretty good, actually. I'm pretty happy that it's Labor Day.
Yeah,
I'm not
true.
sure if I'm still having classes on Labor Day because my professors didn't say anything about it, but I hope that they
same
just
here.
forgot to. I will not be attending class in
Okay.
either event, so...
Yeah, I'm just waiting for my teacher to tell what's up as well.
Yeah. Dude, what classes do you have on Monday?
I just have drawing for animation, and I have like an old timey teacher for that class. He's like he's actually like a pretty prominent person in Pratt in general. He is the person who really came up with the curriculum. And like he helped us get like a lot of more Cintiqs in Myrtle Hall as well.
Oh, is that Greg?
Greg.
Yeah, I don't know if we should say his last name, but yeah, he's so cool. He talks about old movies and stuff
Yeah,
with me.
he does. He talks a lot about old stuff, and he's been around. He tells us stories. He's telling us stories all the time about how when he was just getting his way, he like worked as an assistant teacher instructor to some really old time old Disney animators.
Yeah, the old Disney guys.
Yeah, exactly. And like
that's what he always says, like the old Disney guys.
yeah, exactly. You know, the
He's
good old days. No, it's he's not like that. He's not like that stereotypical old guy, but he is like, you know, an old guy.
He's great though. He's cool.
He's cool. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
actually, I knew him from last year because I worked at the resource center, and he would always like come in and borrow the skeleton because we had a skeleton there. Yeah, like everybody else would be coming in, and he's pretty old fashioned. Like literally everybody else, every other animation professor would come in and borrow like, you know, flash drives and what do you call it, SD cards and stuff, and he would always be like, "Can I have that skeleton?" Like, thanks. And he would like, you know, play with it and sometimes pretend like he would make his hand wave and be like, "Ha ha ha!" You're not laughing. Like,
yeah, it's also like he's trying his hardest, but it's like he always comes across as that old guy who has no idea how anything works anymore.
yeah, but he's a good artist though. Have you seen his drawings?
I've seen his drawings. Yeah, he's teaching us anatomy, and it's like, well, I don't know. His drawings were just get the job done, in my opinion.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you're a better artist though. So
don't say that. Don't. You're gonna make Pratt look bad.
Oh,
by saying that.
You're making Pratt look bad. You're like, his drawings like get the job done, in my opinion.
Okay, you're right. You calling me out there. I have to admit.
That's like that one guy I had class with last year. He would always like criticize the professors. He didn't take any criticism well. He would be like, "Oh, like look at her Instagram. Her paintings are trash."
Yeah, you can't take that route either, because it's like, you know, what if they do actually have something like, you know, to show you, to teach you? Because even then, it's like, you know, I find that not saying his last name, I find that, it's also funny because it's like, he wants me to be as formal as possible. Like, I one time accidentally, in an email, addressed him as Greg, and he's like, "Oh, you shouldn't do that. You should."
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like, I just did it offhand by accident, and he's like, "You should always be sure to, you know, address your teachers professionally." And I'm like, "Oh, sorry, Mr. Blank." I'm not saying his last name.
Yeah.
"Sorry, Mr. Blank. No, I'd rather be called Professor." "Oh, sorry, Professor Blank." "No, just Professor." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
That's funny.
Yeah.
Dude, I had a professor last year who was like, we were talking about, I forget what it was, but it was like some way of addressing someone where it was like your excellency, and he's like,
your excellency
to me is that, or your excellency, or your highness. That's it.
What? Who is this guy? Is he a teacher you have now?
No, I had him last year. He was great. He was a philosophy teacher, I think. But that would be getting off the
I thought he was like one of your studio teachers. I'm like, what kind of pretentious son of a gun?
He was joking.
Oh, okay. If he was joking, then I get that.
Yeah. But anyway, so what's the scoop on the animation you've been?
What's the tea? What's the? Oh wait, what, are we talking about? Like that miniseries that I'm working on? Or what? Which thing?
The animation you were just watching.
Oh yeah. 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 Me and him were talking about this before the episode. So what I got into, I got tipped off to this from my grandmother, but I mentioned this last episode. I can't watch TV or really any kind of any popular platform of movies or TV, because I'm just I only have $50 to my name, and I watch YouTube a lot. But YouTube has a lot to offer, a lot of free quality content. And one of these short films out there is a short film called Destino. And for those who don't know, Destino is a short film started in 1946 by the legends Salvador Dali and Walt Disney. Have you ever heard of this?
I think I did. I think I have heard of that, actually. That sounds interesting. I never watched it.
Well, it's as interesting as it sounds. I really can't explain it to you. I can only really tell you what's in it. It's to me, it really seems like a surreal love story, and it's being made in 1946. There is certain symbolisms that's very telling of the time. So 1946 is just the beginning of the Cold War. And
oh, really? I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
Oh, okay. Some this podcast is becoming part history lesson now and then.
The more you know.
The more you know. Anyways, 1946, the beginning of the Cold War, and it's also kind of the beginning of I guess you can call it the golden age of American, Americanness, I guess, because it's post-war boom, the post-war economic boom. All the soldiers coming back home and and just being and just they're just loving it up and making a bunch of kids. But it's I don't know, I guess there's a lot of there's several American related. Well, there's just a baseball player in there. I don't know what I'm saying about American, but there's a lot of when you dig into it, there's a lot of symbolism in there that that's telling of the time. And I really can't explain it because you have to watch it. But it's you can really tell oh, okay, I can see Walt Disney in this, but I can also see Salvador Dali in this. So it's it's kind of a moving Salvador Dali painting, which is just great.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So should I go over what my animation awesomeness adventures are?
No.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Go on ahead,
okay.
Dave.
Yeah. So I have a film that I really like, that I came across about 4 years ago. It's a Halloween film called The Devil and Daniel Mouse, and it's from 1978. And I love it because you got to check it out. It's from the studio Nelvana that some people might know because they do they're from Canada, and they do a lot of kid shows like Word Girl and Time Warp Trio. People probably heard of that. And this was, the logo is this polar bear looking up at a star. If you ever see that?
I feel that's the same logo as the Klondike bar.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Okay.
And but this film is the first film that they used that polar bear logo. But the film is great. It's totally 70s. It's all about disco, but it's the colors are really good, and the devil is really good. He's really well animated, especially for the 70s.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, like, were any, like, big-time animators related to this project?
I'm not sure. I know the director was an animator on the Yellow Submarine film for the Beatles.
Interesting.
But I don't know. I think it's a relatively obscure film, but it's really good.
Interesting.
It's like better than the Titanic movie, probably.
Really? Wait. Like the Titanic, like the actual. You're just joking, right?
Yeah, I'm just joking. Well, actually, I liked it better than the Titanic.
So, like, when you say Titanic, you mean like James Cameron Titanic?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, shoot. Bold statement here. All right. I don't know. Like, I have no qualms against Titanic, but I'll take you up to it. What's it called again?
It's called The Devil and Daniel Mouse, and it's really about his. I don't know if it's his girlfriend or just his music partner. It's really about Jan Mouse because she wants to be a star really bad, and it starts out and they're like, they're not popular. They're singing in bars, and nobody's there, and then. Dan Mouse is optimistic. He's like, "Oh, come on, we're gonna star someday. You just wait." And she's like, "I gotta be a star right now." And then he goes somewhere else to get food, and then the devil just appears. And the devil is a really great character. I don't know who does his voice, but he's just awesome. And they do a lot of animation tricks that you have to watch it like 3 times to realize. Like when he puts his shoulders, he like leans on something and it's like nothing. You can't, like, it looks like he's leaning on a tree at first, but you can tell later that he's like leaning on nothing. So
interesting.
It's really cool.
This I really don't know what this looks like, but the way you're describing it to me, so it's like 70s cartoons. Like in a shady bar. Something about that, it reminds me of, and I'm hating myself because I'm forgetting this guy's name. I'm actually looking it up right now. You know what Fritz the Cat is?
Oh yeah. It's like that. It's like that, but for kids.
Okay, interesting. So, okay, I'm trying to find out. I'm really hating myself for forgetting the name of this guy. Like the guy who animated.
Oh, that Ralph Bakshi.
Ralph Bakshi. That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm especially ashamed because he also comes from New York, but yeah, it's Fritz the Cat. It's about, and really anything, most content, most films created by Ralph Bakshi, because it's like, in the 70s, the 70s to early 80s is when he was most active, and created his best stuff. And like, when you think of that time period, it's like, okay, Disney was in decline. They really didn't like, make anything too good that time period.
Yeah.
I think it was like Robin Hood, like that's all I can think of. I don't even sure if that was from the 70s. But
The Black Cauldron, I thought was good.
Yeah, true. But it's like even then, it's like most people don't know about that kind of stuff. But regardless, it's like, and like. And because like they weren't really like that prevalent in the market, it allowed like films like this to actually get pretty popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And oh my gosh, what was I gonna say? Oh, I was gonna say something about him. Did you ever see? He's really closely related. I mean, not by blood, but he's closely related to the guy who did Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, really? I'm not surprised.
Yeah, like the guy who did Ren and Stimpy worked for him. And I don't know how he feels about him now, but like, the controversy about him.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't he like kind of like a pedophile, or at least a pervert?
He was dating like a 16-year-old girl, and he was 37.
Yeah, it's so effed up because it's like this person, this girl, was interested in getting into the animation business, and then like he basically coerced her into actually like, yeah, it's pretty gross.
Yeah, he's great. I was talking about that in Greg's class, and there was another guy in his class who was like, "Oh yeah, he's absolute garbage."
Yeah.
He just like right off the bat. I wasn't even talking about that scandal. I was saying he did other things like where he I don't know if you know this, but he started his own animation magazine, and he apparently went undercover with a pseudonym and wrote articles that like bashed Animaniacs,
Oh.
like compared it to Ren and Stimpy, and he was like, "Guys, Ren and Stimpy is like so much better."
It's bizarre because like people like and like, but then again, if there was no Ren and Stimpy, there would be there wouldn't be like other animation out there like SpongeBob.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it doesn't excuse it, but it's also like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a crazy. Yeah, there's a new documentary about Ren and Stimpy out,
Really?
right?
No, I don't. What's it called?
I think it's called. I forget exactly what it's called. It's called I think it's called The Ren and Stimpy Story, but I heard about that 3 years ago. And that was before the whole scandal happened with him,
really?
like the news came to light. And they had the documentary like almost finished, but then the scandal blew up.
Oh.
And they actually had the one guy who made the documentary had to sell his car to like remake it, because they had to like basically restructure the entire thing around that.
Wow.
And I think it debuted at Sundance this January, and I think it's gonna like have a wider release later this year.
Okay.
So yeah, it should be good. But and guess what?
What?
I think at the Sundance Film Festival they invited the creator of Ren and Stimpy, and they also invited the girl that he like dated.
What?
Yeah, and they asked the creators of the film, they're like, so how's that going to work? Like,
Yeah.
they're like, we are making sure that it's not going to be awkward, but it's probably
going to be really awkward.
Yeah. He's going to be like, oh, hi.
Yeah, like in the cocktail parties, and then like everyone's going to be around them just like looking over their shoulder.
Everybody's going to be there, and they're going to, like, you can tell, like,
yeah, like who invited these two with this film? It's yeah, that's one awkward situation. Like, oh yeah, like, yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, that was probably the most awkward film festival in the history of film festivals. Like, everyone there probably had like a really red face. They're like, like, especially because the film was about him and her, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I digress.
Oh boy,
Are
the
you
joys,
driving?
the what?
Are you driving?
Yeah, I'm driving in the middle, and I'm driving and animating at the same time. I'm a real jack of all trades.
Dude, that would be cool if you made a film that like while you were driving.
It's gonna be like the bumpiest film of all time.
Yeah.
Like disclaimer: this movie was made in a car going 60 miles per hour while the animator was driving it.
It ends early because he crashed.
Yes, exactly. It's only 2 seconds long.
He only got 2 seconds worth of animation before he literally like drove off a cliff by accident.
Yep.
But yeah, that was 2 seconds. That's pretty good.
And it's literally just like a scribbled out character, like no recognizable features.
So wait, have you had an in-person class yet?
I've not. No, my teachers are telling me that they want to have like in-person classes, but I don't know for this, but like I have no idea what route Pratt is going to go to. But the story goes is that cases in New York City are actually rising.
Oh wow.
I mean, it's not like a terrible rate. I mean, no rate is good rate, but it's not like in other rates you see across the country.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is what SUNYs are doing is like state universities. They're closing down. Well, I mean they're going all online.
That's what
I mean, God forbid that Pratt. I mean, if they do it, they do it. And at this point, okay, I understand. But I mean, they're probably going to tell us last minute, anyways. If they tell us anyways, so they have until the end of this Labor Day weekend to tell us.
Oh, really?
Well, they ought to. I mean, like I'm not setting any deadline for them, like officially. I'm just saying if they don't, then then they're putting themselves in a tricky situation.
Yeah. This whole thing is a tricky situation. Well, dude, after coronavirus is over, everyone's going to be like, well, that was a sticky situation.
That was a sticky situation. Yeah, I mean, this whole thing could have been avoided. But I'm not going to get into that because that's a different story.
Yeah, that's not about animation. But
yeah,
actually,
exactly.
The thing about animation is, like, I'm kind of lucky. Like, we're kind of lucky because, you know, animation is doing relatively well during coronavirus.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we're, like, you know, I think Bento Box Productions, they didn't even shut down at all.
Really?
Yeah, like,
I
they
mean,
were
like,
hiring people still.
But they weren't, like, doing stuff in person, I'm assuming, right?
No, they weren't, but you can do it from home.
Yeah, that is true. Like, as long as you have a good enough setup, then
I mean,
you could just do it at home.
Switch to home.
That's good. That's good to hear. I mean, like, yeah, that is true. I actually, like, got, like, a freelancing gig as an animator just over like this whole crazy ass summer. So
really?
yeah.
That's awesome.
So that is good.
Can you say where now?
I mean, I'll say where, just because it's like, I mean, the only thing I really can say about it is like what projects I'm doing. So it's just at this place called Juve, full name Juve Consulting. It's run by like a lot of Ivy League kids, and it's all about trying to like try to like better represent like the younger generation in today's like marketing. So I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what their whole thing is about. I mean, you know, they're like an agency firm, so it's like that's pretty much what it is. It just so happens like they because they're made up of very young people. They want to work with young people like me, and so I applied. I showed them my website, which another mentor helped me out with, and
which who helped you out with?
So like. It was one thing that led to another. So like I volunteered for, and I guess I'm just telling this story just for the purpose of like, maybe like giving some kind of inspiration to people who are listening. But God, I'm sorry. Like I'm animating on my computer right now, and like half my frames were just deleted for no reason.
Oh wow, that sucks.
Yeah, that's all right though. There's only like 5 seconds of progress lost. But anyways, one thing led to another. So I found myself without a job, really without anything to do, like back in the beginning of April. Or well, actually not necessarily April, because even back in April, I thought I at least had something to do over the summer. It was just that by the time summer rolled around, that all the opportunities that I thought I had in the bag were just dissolved.
Yeah.
So like I applied for this internship at Brooklyn Navy Yard. I mean, I really didn't know like what my chances were. I applied for pretty specific positions that I thought I was at least somewhat well qualified for. So I was looking up to that, but any chance I had to that was just dissolved. Once they decided to. They limited the amount of people that were actually that could actually work,
Yeah.
And that basically meant that my chances of already getting that, it just dissolved. And there's like at least one or two other things, other jobs that I applied for that dissipated because of that. So basically, by the middle of the summer, I had to live with my parents for a little bit. Back in I mean, this isn't different for most 19-year-olds, I guess, but basically I was around here in Brooklyn in a pretty cool place, but I had to go up with my parents just because there was just because in order to get proper Wi-Fi access, I was down here. So I moved up there, and hold on a second, I'm getting distracted. All right. Anyways, as I was saying, so basically, I needed a job. At least for the time being, when I get back to school, because I had no idea where my jobs were then. And so what happened was that I volunteered instead for this. Oh, hold on a second. What the heck?
Okay. Like telling the podcast listeners, like, hold on a second.
Yeah. Okay. This is just the best way to hold a podcast. Anyways, so I volunteered for this thing at my school. It was just like basically like industry research. Like, you know, you put down names and you put down company names. And throughout my me looking, I found an ex-teacher of mine, and she actually moved on to work. Reached out to her. She was like, "Oh, hey, Ronan," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, now I remember you." So when she reached out to me, she was like, "Yeah, any help at all? Like, you know, tell me." And I was like, "Okay, you know, I'm trying to set up this this website, and you know, I can use some help for that." And she gave me some help. I mean, like, you know, she made me do most of the but you know, I went through the trouble of actually like trying to set up a website for myself. I did. I feel like I did a pretty good job, and I just so happened to come across a job opportunity through Instagram through these people's Instagram, because like, you know, Juve has Instagram, and you know, what Gen Z company wouldn't, and they said, we're hiring for freelancers, and I'm like, oh shoot, you know, I'll try my best at this, because I would want to, like, you know, want to get my foot in the door. I applied. They had me go through a process where I actually, like, you know, made an animation for them. I did. Wow. They liked it, and they chose me.
Wow, that's great, dude.
And that was it. You know, I mean, like, you know, it was really just a matter of, like, you know, wanting to put myself out there that, you know, helped me in the first place. I had a pretty good supportive system behind me to help me with, like, you know, the nitty gritty parts, and that's how I got it. It's like, you know, with a freelance job, it's like, it's long periods of just stagnation, and then when it finally starts, it starts. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it starts all right. You know, the grind is on. I've yet to really hit that grind yet, because they've been putting things off on my plate for a little bit. But regardless, you know, it's good income.
Yeah, that's good, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah. Hopefully my storytelling skills will improve while animating as well, because I'm working on animation while I'm talking.
Yeah. Well, what animation are you working on?
I'm just working on just your standard bouncing ball.
Nice.
Like, I have to do balls in 3 different weights, and now I'm just doing like one bowling ball. Yeah, I'm doing like, we have to do an explosion animation, a crash animation, and then some other animation which I forget at the moment. But I wanted to do, for the crash, I wanted to have a police car that had a bumper sticker that said "honk if you're high." What?
And then, like, an old crappy 1990s car pull up behind him, and the guy in the car is high, and he's like, oh, and he's like, and then the police car stops, and then he keeps going and crashes into the back of him, and then the police car's like, woo! So,
all right, I see.
Work, but I'm gonna try to do
it.
That
sounds kind of complicated. Won't lie.
Yeah, it is, but I don't know. The other one I wanted to do was, like, I was telling you about this. I wanted, because I was going to use this in a film anyway. That, you know, that Amish horse and buggy thing?
Yeah.
He has, like, a motorized buggy, and then it starts going really, really fast, and the horse can't keep up, and then the horse starts, like, you know, getting pushed by the buggy and then falls over. But I don't think I can do that, because it's not, like, it's not really related to the project.
you're also in one of my classes that has this. It's called video editing. You have that assignments. You have the same assignment that I do, right?
Yeah, the editing one, the movie.
Yeah. So for context, one of our classes has us do this little editing assignment where we're given like this old film, like that was probably like meant to be this like this gritty like noir film about like this woman trying to find her daughter. It probably didn't actually get made because it ended up in like some stock footage category, and then it's just picked up by like all film schools to actually like for editing practices. So it's like if you're ever like in animation school or a film school for that matter, you'll probably get this assignment where you're given all these like these individual film clips and you're supposed to edit them together.
Yeah, it's called Hope. I think the film's called Hope. I think it was made.
It was, well, whatever. If it wasn't or was made, we were still given like probably like a B-roll footage of this one scene that might have or might have not ended up in the final product. And for context, yeah, like it's like it's about this one girl who meets this one guy in a shady diner, and it's like she's like basically pleading with him, please find my daughter, and he's just like no, until he's finally like, okay, fine.
He's like, oh, I freaking like sat there at the diner to meet you, and now I don't do that.
I don't do that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like I didn't understand that. She comes to the diner, and she's like, I'm here, like, I need your help. And he's like, I don't do that anymore. And it's like, dude, why are you sitting at the diner waiting for her? Like, did she call you? And he's like, I need your help to, like, help find my child. And then, he goes to the diner and sits there.
And then he just, like, psych.
Yeah, and then he's like, yo, I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Please schedule a consultation. It's like, then why do you have your, like, profile on LinkedIn or whatever?
Yeah, professional child finder.
Yeah, professional child finder. That would be good. That's like, there's some videos where, this is probably off topic, but I saw this one video where this, like, Chris Hansen?
Uh-huh.
Like, he has people who go online and just pretend to be kids, and they, like, don't even have a problem getting people to, like, come to their house.
Yeah.
Like, you're 13? Alright, I'll be over.
Yeah, it's like, well, I mean, those guys are kind of messed up in the head anyways.
Yeah.
So, I guess it's easy to bait them, but then again, it's not like, it's not like it's like Chris Hansen's fault in the first place. This guy wanted to, like, well, I'm done talking about that right now, even though I just started. So, yeah, but this was like the 90s when it was made, so there wouldn't have been any LinkedIn anyways.
Yeah.
But in the end, it's kind of wacky, like this footage, because you can tell it's kind of like, okay, this is like some like B movie type thing where it's like, like you can hear like the crew, like, when they're making it, they don't sound that into it. And like whenever the cameras stop rolling and whenever like the director says cut, you can just see like the life come out of the actor's face, and they're just like, oh my god. Yeah, so
where's my paycheck?
Yeah, I'm just doing this. They're just like talking to themselves. I'm just doing this to make ends meet, to make rent,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm animating this head exploding right now.
Okay, that must be pretty fun.
Yeah, we have to do an explosion, so...
It sounds a lot more fun than this bowling ball.
Yeah, I guess the thing that I have to, like, worry about is I have to make sure the head doesn't look like all the pieces are running away from each other. I have to make it feel like there's some sort of pressure,
Okay.
Like I can't... Like,
yeah,
I tried it.
I mean, it sounds like what you need is some good anticipation. That's animation talk for holding a pose before you. Yeah, I can't even define it that well. Yeah, anticipation. It's where you hold on a pose before you deliver the payoff.
Yeah, I totally knew that before you said that. I was just kidding.
Yeah, we're good animation students. We know our terminology.
Yeah, dude, that's like if I was ever teaching animation or something, or if I was ever an animator and I came to a school to like give a presentation, I'd be like, so anyway, we're gonna do some animation, and then I was like, I'm like doing an animation, and the kid's like, don't you need anticipation? And I'm like, yeah, I was gonna do that.
Yeah. Like, before you interrupted me, stupid.
Rude. You gotta go to detention.
Yeah, go to the dean's office now.
Can someone remove him, please? Like, he knows too much.
He knows too much.
Yeah. That's like, I bet teachers hate when people correct them and stuff.
Of course, yeah. I mean, like, it goes against their profession. It's like, I'm here to teach you, not the other way around.
Yeah. And especially teachers probably hate when students try to correct them and the students are like dead wrong.
Oh, true. Yeah, that must. What would annoy them more? Like if the student was right or if the student was wrong?
Probably if the student was right, that would be annoying.
Yeah, I mean, I think of it more like being like kind of like an existential thing. It's like not really as annoying as it would be just like kind of concerning for them. It's like this is my job and I can't even do that right.
Yeah. He'd be like, all right, why don't you be the teacher? Get up here. You're going to teach. Why don't you take my paycheck? And the teacher gets out like $100. Here you go. You're the teacher now. Like, actually, that wouldn't make sense. That would be awesome, though.
Yeah, like, but I don't know. No good person in their mind or in this economy would just give out their paycheck like that after someone annoyed them. You did such a good job annoying me. You did such a good job condescending me in my like profession that I'm gonna give you my money.
Yeah. You did such a great job correcting me. Maybe you should change your name to Corrector.
Okay.
Huh? It's like the teacher can't even come up with a good comeback.
Yeah.
But yay, you little corrector, huh? You're so smart. Well, nobody likes a smart ass. You stupid kid.
Wow. And then, like, no one shows up for class the day after.
Yeah. Dude, that'd be so fun. It was like, we had this one substitute teacher in grade school that everyone hated. And I don't know why, because she was nice. And she actually, like, one time she slipped and fell and hit her head on the chalkboard. And literally for the first 5 seconds, like, nobody said anything and somebody actually laughed.
Wait. So this teacher, like, banged her head on something, and she lied dormant on the floor for 5 minutes, and nobody did anything about it?
No, it was like 5 seconds. But she got up.
Okay. But, like, no one said anything?
No, it was like 5 seconds. And 5 seconds is kind of long when you think about it. It wasn't like 30 seconds of hesitation.
Especially like right after like someone might have like died. Like
yeah. I mean, it was like 5 seconds. If she didn't get up, we probably wouldn't have done anything.
I would have been like, holy shit, what the fuck? I would have been over like, miss, are you all right? But I don't know. It sounds different over there. Whatever.
We would have been like, good, we don't have any homework.
Okay. I bet, if it was long enough and no one said anything, I bet someone would have said that.
Yeah, probably. And everyone would be like, AJ!
Yeah.
LOL.
Yeah. Kids.
Yeah.
I want to share my experiences trying to get used to Toon Boom. Overall, a little bit annoying. I'm more of a Photoshop person. Although I will say though, there is some certain advantages to using Toon Boom over Photoshop. But
and what is Toon Boom for the people who
of course
not know what it is?
Okay, so Toon Boom. Anybody who knew what Flash is, like Adobe Flash, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. I don't know. I kind of think of it as like a mix-up between Photoshop, Illustrator, and Animate. It has like features of all of them, except it's like a little bit of a childish display because it's like you look at these icons and you see like cartoon glove hands, you see stick figures, and then you see like cartoony pencils. But regardless, it's like It's just this 2D animation software where it's where you actually get to like animate a film in real time. And what I mean by real time, it's unlike drawing traditionally on paper, because you can actually get to see like, oh, okay, you don't have to like push it through a pencil testing station like every 10 minutes to see like how it's going. You can just press play, and you see how your animation's going, which is an advantage that most digital software has, not just Toon Boom.
Yeah. The thing when you're doing it on paper is like, for people who don't know what a pencil test is, it's when you do your animation on paper, you have to. There's a big camera and you take pictures of each drawing, and then that takes forever sometimes.
Yeah, it does.
Especially if you have different layers.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, if you're good enough at drawing, when I say good enough, I don't know, you're skilled enough at drawing, and you're skilled enough at drawing on cell papers, you could actually like get solid movement on just like one or two tries, I should say. But usually, like it on average, it probably takes like 4 or 5 tries to get it right. And when I say tries, I don't mean you have to like start over like every other try. You just like erase some marks, redo this and that. Yeah.
Or you can just do it once and then like cross your fingers and hope that it's good.
You can
and then do it and then do like the entire thing and ink it and color it and do the voices, and you already did the voices before.
I mean, like, I don't know. Well, I know that old-timey animation, it's like they did the animation first and then the voice actors over it. I'm not sure if they do it like that anymore. Cause it's like,
I don't think they do.
Yeah, because it's just like the whole work line has changed, the whole workflow.
No, I think they always did the voices beforehand.
Really?
Yeah, I think there was.
Oh, I'm forgetting about the charts. I'm forgetting about those charts that they use, where it's like you can actually like.
Sheets.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, would you like to explain what exposure sheets are, Dave?
Yeah, they're just the timing sheets. Like, they give you it's like a breakdown of every single frame. And basically, like, if you're going to do a sequence of drawings and you number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you just write the numbers in the exposure sheet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it shows you, like, okay, here's the time. If you want to have each drawing on for 2 frames, then you just put 1, 1, and, like, you put the number 1 in the first frame and the second frame, and, put the number 2 in 2 frames. It's pretty tedious, but it's kind of it's pretty easy, and it helps a lot. Sometimes. Yeah,
it's true, but honestly, I feel like it's not as necessary when you have it like all laid out for you in like these digital programs. It's like there's no need for an extra chart when you already have it in your face.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those layouts are basically exposure sheets.
Yeah, exactly. I like these timelines that Toon Boom has. Okay, so it's like as soon as I pressed on another layer after I used one layer for like a good minute or so, it tells me footage not found, or it's like it can't locate it, even though it's oh shoot, don't tell me. Oh my god, I'm sorry guys.
What, did it delete it again?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, welcome to another episode of Ronan Loses His Mind while trying to use Toon Boom. This is okay. Dave, why don't you do the talking for a second?
Okay. Alright, so, let's see, what should I talk about? Well, right now I'm animating an exploding head for my, project, and I guess my problem here is that, I really don't know how to draw blood in pencil, so I gotta just do, like, little squiggles and hope that people think it's blood, or some brains or whatever, and, it looks kind of like yarn, actually. But, I don't know. Maybe I should send the listeners a link to critique my animation.
I don't know. You might not get the most happiest of responses.
Yeah, I send them a link to critique the animation, and they're like... And then I read the critiques, and I'm like...
They should be like, cringe, delete channel.
You're like, hashtag cringe.
Hashtag base. You suck.
Yeah. I know. I thought this was going to be really cool, but then I think I got to redo this drawing. Because it's just the head opening up, and there's, like, stuff in it. I got to have good anticipation.
Okay.
Maybe I can do it in less frames.
Now, share with us in the comments your experiences with Toon Boom. Is it a piece of crap, or is it actually like a miracle of science? Please tell us, because I have my opinions on it. So
it's a miracle of science.
Yeah, I don't know how else you would put it. You know, who doesn't want to have their like progress deleted every 5 minutes?
Dude, it's like the greatest thing since Copernicus.
The greatest thing since chopped bread.
Chopped bread isn't even that.
What were you going to say about Copernicus?
I was going to say the greatest thing since Copernicus discovered whatever he discovered.
The greatest thing since Plato discovered whatever he discovered.
Plato didn't discover. Plato was like a philosopher.
No, it's Socrates. The greatest thing since Socrates discovered philosophy.
Yeah. The greatest thing since like.
The greatest thing since Freud discovered the subconsciousness.
Yeah.
Like
the greatest thing since Freud discovered the moon.
Yeah. Since Albert Einstein discovered the moon. Yeah.
Yeah. The greatest thing since Albert Einstein discovered that, like...
Since Albert Einstein cured cancer.
Dude, this is so funny. He would be like, yes, I did.
Yes.
Nobody noticed.
Yes, I did it. Nobody noticed. Like, the Nazis burned my discovery.
Yeah.
Like, no joke, though. Like the Nazis did actually, like, burn some of Einstein's
really?
books. Yeah. Yeah, it's
wow.
like, I mean, like, they burned a whole lot of other crap, too. It's like, you know, just imagine, like, what those books had. Yeah. Pretty tragic.
That's like the Library of Alexandria when that burned down.
Yeah.
They lost, like... They estimated
yeah.
that they lost, like, 1,000 years worth of progress
you know what? They should have used their hard drive. Like,
yeah.
they should have put in. I mean, they should have put like at least half of it into another place.
Yeah. Like, you should have used a hard drive.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, okay, this is like stupid American me talking. Obviously, they didn't have hard drives back then. Just a joke, guys. Just a joke. Okay.
Just a joke, guys. Please don't cancel us.
Please don't. Yeah. Please don't cancel. All right. Yeah, it's not even like that of offensive a joke. It's just a really dumb one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. We're gonna make a film with my one friend, and we wanted to make it in high school because did you guys have a news channel?
A news channel from
like,
high school?
Yeah, like in high school, did you have like basically like a local news channel where students would run it?
Not really that. I don't know. It's like, I mean, there's like, you know, the morning announcements, which like, you know, I guess you could say is kind of like that. But no, there's not really that. Okay, I'm just going to interject. I want to restart my thing because it's like now all progress is lost, but I don't want to like, okay, you know what? I'll just go right in it. Whatever. It's not that hard.
We should have Greg on the show.
I don't even know like if he's able to join, like if he knows. Okay, I'm obviously being too mean, but I don't know. That wouldn't be that bad of an idea, I guess. Eventually,
he would be like, you know, does he talk to you guys a lot, or does he just?
I mean, he talks a lot.
Yeah, there's only 3 people in our class, so I just like talk to him the entire class. And when he doesn't have anything to talk about, he just sits there and he's like, okay. And sometimes I'm like, are you gonna go on to the next lesson? And well, I'm just thinking that, and he's like, okay, what? And he says like, what else? What else should I talk about? Oh yeah, did you ever watch Alien?
And, oh my gosh!
But he's actually, I really like his class.
Yeah, I mean, like he seems just like an innocent old man.
Yeah. Maybe.
It's funny because it's like I don't know. I think that he is like the oldest teacher that Pratt has.
How old
I don't know. I mean, like I'm not gonna like. I don't know. I'm not gonna guess like 80.
80?
No, I'm just joking. I'm being mean again. I really have no idea how old he is.
I would think he's probably maybe like 65.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah. Like, yeah, dude. All Saturday, I was just doing a Shaggy voice the entire day.
What?
Like, I was just.
It was your Shaggy phase?
What?
It was your Shaggy phase?
No, the voice. I was speaking like Shaggy the entire day because my friends, like, we just started doing this thing where we all talk in a Shaggy voice.
Like, don't do that, Scoob.
Yeah. No, but I think it's because there's a sing-songy, like, there's kind of an equation to his voice where...
An equation to his voice.
Yeah.
There's a mathematical principle that you need it's the Shag equation.
Yeah. Yeah, no, if you go, like, let me think, like Scoob, like, if you start out low and then end up high, it sounds like Shaggy.
Okay.
Like Scoob, don't eat all the hamburgers.
I mean, like, the original voice actor for Shag was obviously just trying to, like, replicate a stoner. Because it's like, think of it, like, mid to late 60s cartoon, it's like, and then they were, like, driving a flower bus. Like, they're like hippies. That's what they are.
Yeah. I came up with a joke where, Shaggy is, like, Shaggy and Scooby are smoking. Maybe I told you this before, but, like, Shaggy and Scooby are, like, both smoking weed in the mystery machine.
Yeah.
And then then they get to a checkpoint, and Shaggy's like, "Oh shit, Scoob, it's a checkpoint."
Yeah.
And then Shaggy's like, "Hide the weed, man." And then they pull him over. Or they're like, "All right, sir, we just need to check your car." And then he's like, "Well, it smells like marijuana in here." And he's like, it was Scooby's fault. And he's like, "Are you talking to your dog?" And he's like, "I swear, officer, he was talking to me a second ago."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Come on, Scoob, don't do this to me." And Scooby's like, "Woof."
Yeah, exactly, because it's a dog. Oh my god, I just lost all my progress again. Alright, this is going to be me trying to find out what's wrong with my computer. I think it's probably like just a, it's probably just like a memory thing. Like, watch it like erase my progress for like the 5th time, like by the end of this episode, and I'll just like Fortnite rage and just like slam all this stuff off the table. No, I'm not gonna do that.
That's fine. That's like those rage videos.
Yeah,
of
exactly.
The kids who are losing, at their video game.
Like Minecraft, CS:GO, Fortnite or whatever.
Yeah.
It's
like Scoob.
Oh my gosh.
Don't do this to me.
Do you ever just like restart your computer because of a problem and it just gives you like static for like a good second and you freak out? Yes. That's happened to me like 5 times like in the past month. And I really think my computer is about to kaput.
Yeah. Dude, that's so annoying. I remember like when I was in high school, like we would do our English finals on the computers in the computer lab, and like for some reason my passcode wasn't working, and it was the same exact passcode I always had. Mm-hmm. It was really simple, and I was like click click click, and it just wasn't working. And the teacher came up to me and she was getting mad at me. She was like, "Ugh." Like, "Ugh."
Like, yeah, what do they expect? Okay, why is my computer like, okay, I'm at Mojave at my Mac, and you know how Mojave like has like, because it's dark mode. That's why. I'm wondering like why it's supposed to be able to replicate the time of day, except when you put it on dark mode, obviously. So that explains it. Never mind. Non-issue.
Yeah. Like Scoob, you gotta put it on dark mode. Shaggy, oh my gosh, I just said Shaggy, but I was talking about my friend Paul, and I was like, Shaggy and I.
Yeah. I dressed up as Shaggy one Halloween, but it was literally just me. Like, I didn't shave for like a month, and I was just wearing like long pants and a green shirt, and that was it. And like a lot of people didn't get it at first, and I was like, I thought I would actually like be like, oh, I get it, but like a lot of people were just like, so what do you dress up as?
Yeah, my friend, dude, actually kind of looks like you, except for he looks like a stoner version of you.
Oh,
like,
really?
he's not. He doesn't do drugs, but he's just like he never gets his hair cut and he sleeps until 6 p.m. And,
that sounds great.
He just looks like he's addicted to drugs.
If this video gets 1,000 likes, then we'll do a face reveal. You hear that? Okay, but not actually, because it's way too early. But eventually we might do that.
Okay.
I got this
That's fine.
Oh, okay, that's why. Okay, I got like this all these okay. I've been like scanning all these hand drawn animations on my computer, and there's just like one project that takes up like a whole gig, so that's why.
Wow. That's crazy, dude.
Yep. So I'm putting that on my hard drive.
Oh man. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. Yeah, this guy, like, people used to call him Shaggy, but he never got his hair cut, so then he got like really long hair.
They always ask, Scooby, where are you? But they never ask, Scooby, how are you? It's not like, yeah. I just thought of this image of like a really depressed Scooby when I said that.
They never ask Scooby.
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Anyways, as you were saying.
I don't even remember what I was saying. Like, dude, we walk around what?
No, I think I just found out something that might help me out.
Oh.
But anyways, as you were saying.
Yeah, we walk around town and like we just fall into it. Like we just fall into doing Shaggy impersonations, and and then one time this guy like mocked us. He was like Scoob, and I was like, shut up.
Yeah.
No, I didn't do that. But the other day, we were walking down the street, and this one guy was like sitting. He was younger than us, I think, and he was like sitting on the stoop, and he was smoking a huge cigar. And he was like, "You guys play Pokemon Go?"
What?
Yeah.
What a weirdo! Like.
And I was like, "No, man," and he's like, "Oh, that's a shame."
Yes,
and I'm like, "Yeah, sorry about that."
Yeah, it's like, God, you don't know what you're missing out on. You don't know, like, that great feeling of just sitting down, smoking a huge cigar, playing Pokemon Go. I mean, he's just sitting down. Like, don't you have to actually walk around?
I know.
Did you just wait for, like, Pokemon to just, like, drop in his lap? Like, it's like the worst.
That's like the plot. That should be the plot of, like, the next Hangover movie where they start playing Pokemon Go and then they, like, wake up in Korea.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Like they just go on like a huge binging trip.
Yeah.
And they black out on like trying to find Pokemon Go, and then like Zach Galifianakis' character is like, guys, check this out. There's this app that lets you capture creatures and sell and then make them fight.
Dude, that's so funny. Like, did you ever see the original Hangover?
Yeah, I did. It's the one where it's like Bradley Cooper, Zach Galifianakis, and Ed Helms. Like Ed Helms gets this Mike Tyson tattoo, and then they like wake up with like a tiger in their room, and they end up in Bangkok. Some random Asian dude is in their trunk. Yeah. It's a crazy ride.
Yeah, and then my dad, like, when this was the first time I saw that was when Blockbuster was still running.
Blockbuster, so, wow! Like how?
Yeah, I was
recent
like 11. And my dad got it. He was like, "Let's go get The Hangover," and we got The Hangover, and we started watching it, and it was so funny. Like he had the one, like they woke up and the one guy's finger was ripped off.
Ugh.
And a monkey had it, and he's like, "Get back here with my finger!"
What the fuck?
He's like,
wow.
Dude, where are we?
Yeah, I would have been like that too. It's like, what the heck?
That's such a good plot for a movie.
Yeah, just it's pretty darn original, and it was I guess you can say it's pretty well made.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, it's yeah, I don't know. It's a pretty late 2000s movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, is Mustafa like still collaborating with you?
Oh yeah. For context, Mustafa is a classmate of ours. I don't know. I'm just gonna say, when it comes to that personal project that I said yesterday, I'm not gonna make up any promises right now. But basically, I really have no idea how that's gonna look, and I don't know what progress that is because, I also mentioned, I'm working two jobs. I'm in the middle of school right now, and I don't know. I don't know how progress is going to be. I like to think that I might work on it a little bit by the end of today. But I also need to do several other things by the end of the day as well. So we'll just see how that looks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of like me with even the little project I was starting, the tiny, I'll just do this for fun. It's I'm having a hard time getting even that finished, but yeah. It's going along. That's good.
I have to reopen it and see if it even is any better.
I'm making some headway on this exploding head guy.
That's good.
Yeah. I have to animate his head stretching. So.
Have you any way of actually testing that animation?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I can basically do a camera pencil test with I can just do it with a stop motion app.
Okay.
Or just flip the paper. Looking pretty good.
That's good.
Oh yeah, by the way, with that cartoon, The Devil and Daniel Mouse, there's a really good documentary about it that they made in the 70s. It's such an in-depth look into animation back then. And the coolest part was that, they had a scene they were showing how they timed out the mouth movements, and he had this little machine that he had a strip of cassette tape or whatever running through, and he would pull it through and it would make the noise but go really slow. It'd be whir, 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 whir. And man, that must have taken forever. And he would write down each syllable on an exposure sheet.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's pretty crazy. It's those guys were workaholics. They worked 15-hour days, and
yeah.
they have a lot of commitments.
Yeah.
To their craft for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Meanwhile,
except for the people. What?
No, never mind. I was just gonna make a snarky comment, but anyways, as you were saying.
I was just gonna say except for the people who worked on Scooby-Doo.
Oh yeah, it's I say 15-hour days, but for one thing, those things probably had a shoestring budget in the first place. They just didn't have they didn't have good. They probably only had a week to do all the animation to begin with because the studio execs were we want this.
Yeah. I saw an interview with I think it was Joseph Barbera, of Hanna and Barbera, and it was in the 80s, and he was sitting there and he's yeah, I honestly like Tom and Jerry a lot better, and he's I'm pretty not very happy with the material we're producing now.
What? That's so sad.
Yeah, I kind of felt bad for him. He was yeah, it's and then they showed footage of him in this meeting room with a bunch of people from standards and practices, and this one woman was does he have to hit the other guy on the head?
Oh my god.
Can he not do that? Maybe not show that kind of strangling. Don't show that the one person's hands are too close to the other person's neck. Don't do that.
That sounds so ugh.
Yeah, and he was sitting there with this big 1980s glasses on. And okay, and then she said something else, and he's like, you are right, I'll change that.
Okay, watch me just like totally bust out my lighting pad right now, because at this point it's going to be much easier for me to do, because my teachers did. Okay, I'm obviously just ranting right now, but my teachers did tell me how to use Toon Boom, but they did not tell me how to use it while it literally deletes my progress every 5 seconds. So
yeah.
I'll be right back. Obviously.
Okay.
All right. Sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna get my lighting pad right now.
Okay, here I can just lend you mine.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yeah, just toss it to me. I'll catch it.
Yeah, okay.
No.
Then I throw it at my computer screen, and then I
and then the stream just ends. Okay. So once again, sorry for the technical difficulty. This is probably going to be one of those parts that I put like the gap music over. So I'll be right back. See ya.
All right, dude.
It's like you want to like actually like have a good skill set, but then this stuff happens. All right. All right, I'm back. Sorry, folks. I don't know. It is what it is, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I'm lucky enough to actually have access to facilities where I got myself a lot of punched out pieces of paper. Like I didn't use any special kind of paper. I just used copy paper. I just I just used the standard hole punching pattern. And yeah, got an outlet right next to me. It's good. It's all good.
Wait, did you go to the new animation building yet?
You mean Myrtle?
No. The other one, like the film video building.
That place is still closed, so no.
That sucks.
All right. I know what this episode is going to be called. It's going to be called Technical Difficulties.
Yeah, that's a good name. Like Scoob, I don't understand why Toon Boom isn't working.
Yeah, exactly. I really don't.
Deleting all of my stuff.
Exactly. I'm going to be sending a nicely worded email to my professor saying, "Please help."
Yeah. You should send them this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
My podcast was ruined because of you.
Yeah, exactly. I'll send one to the HR representative at Toon Boom and saying this is an outrage.
It's like Scoob, I don't understand why Toon Boom isn't working. Reggie, all you have to do is use it correctly. You're not.
I am using it correctly.
Like Scoob. One more comment like that, and I'll put you down.
Yeah, I'll put you to the pound. Yeah.
I'll literally put you down. No one will ask where you went.
Oof! Wow. Okay. All right. All right. I'm set up now. You're just a hopeless little mutt. I found you on the streets, and I can put you back there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! I like Scooby Doo's funny. Like, did you ever see
Raggy? What?
Did you ever see Uncle Grandpa?
Oh yeah, I remember that thing.
Yeah,
I remember that. Like, no man scares me, but that thing.
Yeah, dude, that's true. I actually liked the show that it was based on, Secret Mountain Fort Awesome.
Wait, it was based off of that?
Yeah, because Uncle Grandpa was the.
Oh yeah, I mean it was the same creator.
Uncle Grandpa was in Secret Mountain Fort Awesome. He was
really?
Like the Santa character, yeah.
I didn't know that. Interesting.
Yeah, and dude, that show was messed up because he was like, he's your uncle and your grandpa.
Yeah, I mean like, it's like it's just begging for like incest jokes. It's like,
yeah.
What was it? It wasn't like the best because it's always like, okay, so I was lucky enough to actually like be in a panel of Cartoon Network not executives, just like, people who work at Cartoon Network and are basically responsible for like, greenlighting shows and choosing what shows are made or not. And they're like, we choose which, they choose which, they basically say that, okay, we want, we want cartoons that, can work well with children, which is another way of saying we want cartoons that will make us money.
Yeah.
And they say that, but then they put stuff like that on the air, and it's like, what the,
Yeah.
Like you really want.
And then they find out most of their audience is like over 18.
Yeah, exactly. Is that true? Is most of their audience over 18?
I don't know.
I'm questioning it because I have an inkling that might be true.
I don't know if that's true across the board, but I remember reading that there were certain Cartoon Network shows and Nickelodeon shows that I think they even canceled one because it wasn't that it wasn't popular. It was just that it was like most of the audience was adults. And
yeah.
They were like, we're not targeting that demographic. And I'm like, why not? If people are watching it,
That's more like Adult Swim territory though. You gotta say.
Yeah.
That's why they have Adult Swim, is so they can make cartoons for children there.
Yeah. And that's like, in Ren and Stimpy, they had a remake. I don't know if you heard of it, but it was called Adult Party Cartoon. It was really like disturbing. But
do you ever just look down and then you see like a bloody scab on your leg?
Really?
That looks like it probably was there for like a good hour or so? That's just what I found out.
Wow. Holy crap.
I don't even remember scratching that part. It's just there.
We had this kid in our grade school who I used to be really afraid of because he said he was a vampire.
Oh my gosh.
And he actually got a sharpened pencil and he had a scab on his knee, and he literally like took the sharpened pencil and stabbed his scab on his knee.
There's always that one kid at school. That's just super weird.
Yeah. And he would like bite people. He
Bro.
would, he would grab people and be like, and then they're like, oh my gosh, he actually bit me.
That's pretty effed up.
Yeah, he's like, you're turning into a vampire.
Yeah, I'm turning into a vampire. I had that one weird kid. Those weird kids kind of dissipate, I think, by the time high school starts.
Yeah.
But there's this one kid that I remember that was in, I think, as late as like 5th grade. Which is when I think we were like 12, 13. But this kid obviously didn't really grow out of that period. And he was always just like a weird kid to begin with. But he always says like some kind of like off-color remark. But there was this one time, like with no precedent whatsoever, like in the middle of class, like he got out a thing of Tic Tacs. He puts it on the desk. He shakes some out, and we're like, oh, cool, you have Tic Tacs? Can we have some? And he totally ignores us. He goes on to crush the Tic Tacs on the desk, and we're like, dude, what the heck? And then, like, crush it to, like, not even, like, a fine grain. Like, it's still kind of thick. And then he just, like, lines it up on the desk, and then he goes, and then he just, like, shoots his head back, like, oh! And then we're like, dude, what the heck? He snorted Tic Tacs.
Yeah, that's what people did in my class. There was one day when that's like what everybody was doing.
Oh my! What the heck is up with Pennsylvania? Like, what the heck?
Not everybody, but like there was probably like 5 people, and I did it, and my head hurt really bad.
I bet it would. It's like you're just like, it's like pure sugar that you're just like shooting up your nose. Like what the heck?
And I think you could, like, probably die from doing that.
I would think so. Like, it just messes up your circulation.
Yeah. That would be the dumbest way to die. It's
True.
Like die from snorting Tic Tacs.
Like, I don't know, like, what would that be, like, what list of, like, various ways to die would that, like, show up on your obituary? Or, like, not, like, your obituary, your, like, death certificate. Because there's always, like, okay, died of strangulation or died of, like, you know, asphyxiation. Like, what would that count?
I don't know, probably be some sort of brain damage or something.
I bet so, yeah.
But, like, I guess it's funny. I used to have my own, like, I made my own newspaper in high school because the high school newspaper wasn't publishing my articles. But that was okay because they were kind of, like, silly and they didn't want to publish them. So I made my own newspaper, and I did, like, a list of like, top weight, like, leading causes of death, and, like, one was, like, driving in a car with Steve Harvey naked. And
what?
Steve yeah, like the cause of death. It was, like, the fifth largest cause of death in America.
So this person died with Steve Harvey in his car, but Steve Harvey didn't die. Is what you're saying?
No. It not just one person. It was, like, the fifth leading cause of death in America, and it was like you know, letting Steve Harvey drive drunk and also naked. And then the sixth leading cause of death was driving with Steve Harvey, who's drunk and he's naked except for his clear plastic underwear. And that's, like, the sixth leading cause of death in America.
You know, I'm really glad that this podcast really allows me to become closer with you, Dave, like this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really getting, like, an insight to your soul through here. It's such a privilege.
Yeah, that's funny. There was also, I did a Halloween version of the newspaper, and it was, like, a list of Halloween costumes that, like, our school had, like, this huge list of Halloween costumes that you weren't allowed to wear. And it was, like, you weren't allowed to wear a mask. That's ironic. You're not allowed to wear a mask.
What?
And what?
I'm just saying, no, I was like, what?
Yeah, you're not allowed to wear a mask because your face, I guess, they don't want you to cover your face. But the teachers wore masks.
Okay.
And, like, you weren't allowed to dress up as a clown after 2016.
Why?
Because that whole clown thing?
Oh, that's like, okay, there's red tape, there's bureaucracy, there's regulation, and then there's that. Like,
yeah.
That's stupid. Like, okay, like, that's gonna solve any problems.
Yeah, it's so dumb. But I made fun of the list, and I think it was, like, for all the people who are wearing really tight-fitting costumes, and then it was, like, ... nice.
Yeah.
And then I think one of my things that you weren't allowed to wear is, like, don't dress up as a cat because that's really lame.
Yeah.
And everyone always does that.
Yeah. That's funny, though. I like that.
Yeah. I forget exactly what the whole thing was. That was funny. I wrote most of the articles, and then my friend wrote one of the articles, and he didn't, like, I don't think he understood the vibe of the newspaper. Like, it wasn't a serious newspaper.
Yeah.
And he wrote, like, a really serious article about, like, the media or whatever. And I put it in, and like, people, but he didn't want to put his name on it, so everyone thought I wrote it.
Okay.
And they're like, dude, this isn't funny at all. And I'm
like, what? Okay. That's
yeah. And then my other friend wrote an article that was, like, it was funny, but it was really subtle. And
it was very dry.
Yeah, it was dry, and it wasn't kind of like the in your face kind of funny that the newspaper was. And it was like, if a tree falls in a forest, does it make a sound? And it was like this, like, intellectual essay, like, it went into, like, science and all this stuff, and I read it, and I'm like, where's the joke?
Yeah.
Like, but I put that one in too, and I guess people liked it. I don't know.
They actually took it seriously.
Some people took it seriously. Some people liked it and thought it was funny. but they were smart people. Like the majority of the people in school were like not smart to dumb, and they were like, "Yo, what the F is this?" Like, they're like, "Where's the bit?" I did like a little detectives corner of the newspaper where it was like a picture of Miley Cyrus, and it's like, "What's wrong with this picture?" And the answer is below, and it's like everything.
Yeah. What's wrong with this picture of Miley Cyrus? It's a picture of Miley Cyrus.
I don't know why Miley Cyrus. I just, she's like the only celebrity that I know, so I just like pick on her.
Okay.
Did you watch Hannah Montana when you were younger?
No. Like, I'm sorry to sound so defensive for that question, but like, no, I didn't. I mean, like, actually, it's just like, it's like, I don't know. I grew up, I guess, during that time. I don't know. I guess, like, it's like, and there was like iCarly, I guess. iCarly was like, you know why I liked iCarly? Because like, my parents were also into like Seinfeld, and they respected iCarly enough as like, kind of like a sitcom for kids. And they liked it enough where they're like, oh yeah, this I can vibe with that. And yeah, we were into that enough. But yeah, Hannah Montana, not really a thing that we were into. Yeah,
that was, I remember watching Hannah Montana a little bit, but that was really more my sister's show.
Yeah, it was supposed to be your sister's show. Like, yeah.
And, but like, the thing is, like, iCarly was okay. But I feel like Drake and Josh was like the really, really good.
Yeah.
Like that was Dan Schneider. And Drake and Josh was so funny. And then I feel like iCarly was kind of like it was like Drake and Josh, but it was like a little bit less.
I guess you could say that. But it's funny that you mentioned. Okay, you mentioned Dan Schneider, but now we have to get into this drama.
I mean, isn't he like a pedophile?
Yeah, I mean, Dan Schneider isn't that better off when compared to like, what's his name again? Ren and Snippy?
John Christopher.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Well, say that again. That's a mouthful.
John Christopher, I think is how you pronounce
John
it.
Christopher. Wow.
Falusi, like
Falusi. Like, what kind of name? I mean, like, I say this, but it's like, okay. Well, I don't know. I don't want to get into that tangent, but yeah, I don't know. Dan Schneider just kind of seems like the Harvey Weinstein of Nickelodeon. Yeah. It's like, he's pretty effed up.
No, it's funny, the Harvey Weinstein of Nickelodeon is literally a pedophile.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what he did, so, like, I mean, like, I don't know, like, did you read anything about him?
Oh, there's always these, like, the reason why I mentioned YouTube Live is because there is a lot of, like, content on there. And, some content creator covered the issue. And, yeah, it's basically like, this guy, like, was into, like, children's show production. But he was also in it, even though he created, like, it's like some, like, the greatest kid shows out there, he kind of created them for the wrong reasons. Those reasons being, like, grooming children.
He's like...
child actors.
Yeah. Yeah. We, when we were little, actually, we came up with a secret language, and our word for toilet was Schneider.
What?
Our word for toilet was Schneider.
I mean, I heard you, but, like, what?
Yeah, I know. I don't know, maybe we, like, predicted. We just had that feeling about it.
We just had that feeling that Dan Schneider was certainly a real shit taker.
Yeah. He's like, hey, kids, come to Dan Schneider's house. That's like Michael Jackson. I don't know if you saw the interview with him, but, like, I think he was being interviewed by Al Roker or somebody. And, the thing with Michael Jackson,
isn't it just great when you, like, reflect on past childhood memories and just like, realize just how many pedophiles were in it and, like, just you didn't know about.
Yeah, that's crazy. And, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. The thing with Michael Jackson, right? There was, like, a whole,
Yeah, didn't he, like, try to groom Macaulay Culkin?
I don't really know. I think...
I don't know, but it's like, I don't know either. Like, I'm talking about this stuff not even knowing about it.
Well, I think he was acquitted of, like... He was just, like, somebody who... slept with little kids in his bed, and he's like, we'll be friends, but he's like literally the one guy who's actually, let's just be friends. But he was in an interview with somebody, and he just, off the cuff just said something like, oh yeah, like, Macaulay Culkin came over and he just like slept in my bed and it was great. And the guy's like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, it's like I just like slept, like I sleep in my bed with little kids. And the guy's like, wait. Do you see that there's a problem with that? And he's like, no, there's no problem. You're just ignorant. That's what he said. He's like, you're ignorant.
Michael Jackson was not the healthiest of minds, because I mean he grew up in like an abusive household, and like he was like a star from like the age of like 5.
Yeah, that's true.
So like I don't know, nobody who's been famous for that long would like be that healthy.
That is true.
Well, that doesn't make it any more, I don't know, excusable. I guess it's just weird. Ugh.
Yeah. I can't believe it. We're supposed to talk about animation.
Yeah, this is what happens when we don't plan for stuff.
Yeah, the pedophile tangent.
I don't know. And then again, if we're like, there must be like many other podcasts out there that go through the same route, where it's like, where they just end up talking about like Hitler after like 20 minutes. Like,
I was listening to this podcast, like the Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah.
And he had his one friend on, and it was so funny. Like, I was just listening to it in the background, and like 2 hours, 5 hours long. And 2 hours into the podcast, they were just talking about, like, it sounded like two guys who were high. They probably were, like, and like Joe Rogan, he was like crying, and he was like, I don't know, like, it's like our lives are like, like something. And the guy's like, yeah, man, it's true. And he's like, I forget even what they were talking about, but he's like, ugh.
Well, that's how it is. I mean, the reason why Joe Rogan is so popular is because he made like thousands of those type of episodes.
Yeah.
So, you gotta get your start somehow.
Yeah. Man. But, let's see here. I think I am finished my animation.
That's great. That's cool. Yeah, I don't know, maybe when you actually get to test it, you can send me a video version of it, and I can see how it goes.
I'm like the guy who, like doesn't even, like the first animated films I did, I told myself, I'm like, all right, I'm going to do a pencil test, and then I just never did it, and then I just inked and colored in the drawings, and then I was like, oh, I hope this works.
Well, that's part of the process.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if you don't do pencil tests or like, not even pencil tests, or just test your animation if you're drawing it digitally, like if you just do it and then you go ahead and basically try to finish it, that's kind of like filming a movie and not looking at the...
oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta do that. You gotta go through those steps.
Yeah. It's like the guy's like, I didn't look at any of the footage before we edited it together, so...
So, I'm sorry if it comes out a bit janky.
I know we spent $200 million on this, but, like... and then, like,
that's how Suicide Squad was made.
I never saw that. Was that good?
No.
Oh. I read that the director, like, he got up and was, like, yelling at people and...
Like, during filming? Or during the premiere?
Yeah, like, during one of the premieres or something, he got up and he was like, this is the best picture, like, blah, 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 blah.
What the heck?
Yeah. I feel like the controversy made it more popular, though. Right.
I mean, it was already like a big time movie that had like huge names attached to it. I don't think like any screaming match could make it any bigger than it already was.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like once you, like, when you make a movie and it's like an Oscar movie.
Yeah.
You know, like you got like every star in it is like a really big name. You have like a really high profile director, writer, producer, you know, high profile studio. I kind of feel like, you know, there's almost no, like, people might give it bad reviews and say it was bad, but like it's like everyone's going to go see it, you know?
Yeah. Because I mean, like, I think like when you consider the budget of the movie, you also need to consider the budget that actually goes within advertising. And it's also it's not like you know, this is some kind of like offshoot movie. It's like it's part of like a larger franchise that has like already like, you know, rabid fans attached to it.
Yeah.
So
like I was watching this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, with that comes like, you know, certain expectations with the movie itself. It's like, you know, you put it out to this fan base and they're like, you know, they'll eat it up, but if they don't like it, then they'll like spit it back at you.
Yeah. And you know, this kind of ties in with you probably didn't see this. There's a documentary about comic strips. It came out.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dave, for assuming stuff about me. No, I'm just kidding. You're probably right. I don't really watch documentaries.
Yeah, did you ever see? It's called Stripped.
Okay.
It's really good. It's, you know, Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah, of course. It's like my favorite. It's my favorite bit. It's my favorite strip.
Yeah, they got the creator to like, he wasn't in it, but they recorded his voice.
Yeah.
And it was about, like, you know, the history of comic strips, the state that creators thought that they were in. And one guy had a really good point, and I think it applies to movies too. I think he did a web comic, and he was saying, like, you know, the comic strips that are like from the big syndicates, and you could apply this to like the big movies too.
Yeah. Like
you know,
Marvel.
they're always going to be there. You know, it doesn't like they don't really have to like fight. But then the smaller movies and stuff, like,
yeah.
like they got to be really good for you to watch them.
Shoot.
Yeah, I think he related it to like hot dogs or like hamburgers, and you know, McDonald's is always going to be there, but like that hamburger stand on the side of the road, that better be damn good, or no one's gonna, or you're gonna be destroyed.
That's capitalism for you.
Yeah.
No
but,
joke.
you know, that's kind of I forget what I was going to say, but they did get the creator of Calvin and Hobbes to do a little voice thing.
That's cool.
Yeah, and he sounds like I don't want to say weak, but he sounds really weak.
I mean, like weak as in like old.
No, weak as in just kind of. He sounds kind of like a nerd.
That's pretty mean.
I know it's mean, but I mean, maybe not nerd, but he just sounds like. He sounds like if I was to picture him, he'd be like sitting in front of a computer, like, yeah, so anyway, like, blah, 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 blah. You know, he's not like some guy.
How dare you talked about my childhood like this? I'm sorry for those listening if like every like now and then you hear like this peel sound. That's the sound of my sweaty pants coming off of this wooden chair. So just so we know.
Wait, what?
Just so we know. It's pretty hot here in New York, so excuse myself.
Yeah, I'm in my basement, so it's pretty cool actually.
Well, lucky you.
Yeah, I actually, in my old house, I used to live in the basement, which was real. We had a basement that was finished, and it was like a guest room. But I was like, can I live here? Can I be down here? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, boy. My friend used to live in his basement, but his parents made him. They kicked him out because he was like, he took me down there one time, and it was like his room, and then his little sister's like play area. And he had, like, vape stuff hidden in his little sister's, like, you know, toy kitchen. He's yeah. Yeah, he's like, check this out. And he had, like, cigars and stuff. And he's like, check this out. And he opens up her, like, cabinet. He's like, there's, like, 5 cigars.
Wow. That's one thing that I think that this generation will look back and regret, vapes. Because it was advertised, at least initially, as, like, a healthy alternative to actually smoking. Yeah, but then they put it on the market, and then like all these like young people use it,
Yeah, and it's like almost as bad as smoking.
Yeah,
it just doesn't smell.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew this guy who would vape all the time. He vaped in school, and we had this biology project, or it wasn't biology, it was environmental science, where it was about vape. We had to look up like the cons of vaping, like the bad parts about it. And he was looking it up, and he was vaping as he was doing it. He was in my group, and he had the vape in his sleeve, and he was like, and like blowing the smoke out and sucking it back in. And he's reading up on it, and he's like, and he looks at me, and he's like, dude, like, I didn't know vape was like this bad. He's like, dude, I'm addicted to it now.
Yeah, it's super addictive. Like I remember, like just every now and then I'd walk in the bathroom, and there's like 5 or 10 kids, not that many kids, but just like a lot of kids just sitting down and doing like skipping class and vaping. It's like yeah. That was always 8th period, where like when I was a senior, my class was right next to the bathroom, and I would just be like, my class was boring, so I would be like, oh, can I go to the bathroom? And I would just go into the bathroom to like just take a breather, and there was always like 10 freshmen in there, like vaping and stuff. Freshmen. Vaping freshmen, yeah, they need help.
Yeah, and the first time I came in, they looked like deer in headlights. And they were like, oh.
They're like, they didn't know if you were a teacher or not.
No, they just thought that I was going to tell on them. They actually said, they're like, oh, don't tell on us. And I was like, I'm not going to tell on you. You know, when I went in the bathroom as a freshman, there was always older kids. Like, it was close to the end of the day, and as it gets closer to the end of the day, there were always like kids who were just, you know, asked to be excused to go to the bathroom to just like hang out. And dude, it was so funny. I would go into the bathroom, and these guys would just be talking. And you know, I remember this one guy was in the urinal, and he's like, "Well, you've been standing there for a long time, and you haven't peed yet." He's like, what do you have, stage fright or something?
Yeah, stage fright.
And then the one guy was like asking everybody's like age for some reason, and he's like, "No, how old are you?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm like 16." He's like, "How old are you?" "I'm 17." And then there was a guy in the bathroom, you know, like probably trying to concentrate on like taking a dump.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yo, kid in the stall," and he wasn't saying anything, and then he like hit the stall door, and he's like, "Yo, kid taking a shit.
Oh,
how old are you?"
I mean, was this a teacher that was saying this stuff?
No, this was just some guy, some older, probably senior.
What a weirdo.
I know.
I'm glad that high school is over now. Like, I'm glad that high school, middle school. You know why? Because now I actually feel like an adult. Like, I actually have like some control over my life. You know.
Yeah, I love, like, I really like my classes now. It's like, it's so awesome because it's not just like math and history. It's, you know, stuff that I really like.
Yeah, the same. Like, the reason why. I think the reason why we're working together right now is because we're both like, you know, pretty like, you know, we have a good idea of what we want to do. You know, we have a good idea of like where we want to find ourselves, and that's what we're doing. We're trying to work for it.
Yeah, and when you say, I don't know if you've noticed this, but like whenever people ask, you know, like when I was a senior, and everybody would be like, you know, what are you doing? What college are you going to? What's your major? And I would always say animation, and everyone would be like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, it's funny. What now?
Did they do that for you?
I mean, I went to a school that had like a really good arts program. So like a lot of the arts kids like, you know, knew. I mean, if they weren't going to art college, they were probably like pursuing some other stuff like political science, or maybe even like, you know, trying to get a medical degree. So more or less, kids knew what they wanted to do. I mean, there's always that off kid that doesn't go to college. But yeah, for the most part, they knew what they wanted to do. I don't know. It just just what the school was like.
Yeah, I actually I didn't realize until recently that like how lucky I was to know what I wanted to do, because it makes the college search so much easier.
True.
Like my sister, she doesn't know what she wants to do, and she's having such a hard time finding a college. She's like, I don't know what I want to do, Yeah. So that was great.
Yeah.
I thought it would be easier if you didn't know what to do.
I mean, like, I don't mean to question you, but like, why? Why'd you think that?
I don't know. I mean, like, I guess I thought because like I wanted to do animation. That's pretty specialized.
True. Yeah.
So I guess I narrowed down the colleges pretty easy because I just looked up animation schools and Pratt came up and other schools came up and I applied to those. Whereas like my sister and other kids who I went to school with, like a lot of them, like they had such a hard time even like finding schools to apply to.
Yeah.
Because it's like when you go on a tour, they're like, this college has a really strong engineering program, and it also has a really strong open heart surgery program or whatever. And they're like, I don't even know if that's good or not because I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like, and that's the reason why I guess it's like the college. Some people like go to these colleges that they think that they want to do. They think that they want to go to, and then they're like, what the heck,
Yeah.
And they don't know what they're doing. So I guess we are privileged like that, in that we do know what we wanted to do, and we were lucky enough to have a good foresight. But I'll just say, when it comes to like my college application experience, it went like this. So I knew I wanted to get into animation, and I knew from like an early age that like what schools had like the best animation programs, and that was stuff like Cal Arts. And from the beginning I was, and this was like really early on. This is back in like sophomore year.
Wow.
That like you have sites on this. As the years went on, I mean, like, when it actually came time to applying for it, like, I worked hard. Like, I worked hard on building a portfolio for them. And I feel like I really, like, I really gave my best shot. But even then, you have to, like, come to terms. It's like, even if I did go there, like, I would be, like chest deep in debt, like, if I were to graduate there. Because they don't really give out scholarships.
Yeah.
So,
it's like Harvard. They don't... Like, I don't even think Harvard gives out... they probably do give out scholarships.
But they're very, very specialized.
Yeah.
They're very, very specialized.
It's like, if you got into Harvard, it's like... You got... Like, they don't have to give any incentive. It's like, dude, it's Harvard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
My cousins, actually, I think Harvard, like, recruited them because they're really good at rugby.
Rugby?
Yeah, and... Like, they got recruited by all these Ivy League schools. Like, dude, my cousin, who's, like, a junior this year in high school, she's going to Duke, and my other cousin is going to, what's it called? It's the school that Andy went to in the office. What's that school? Do you know what that school is?
I don't know what that is.
It's an Ivy League school. It's like...
Columbia?
No,
Brown?
No.
Yale?
No, she was gonna go to Yale, but she didn't.
There's like only one other Ivy League school after that. Is there? Is that 4 or 5? Okay, Brown, Harvard, Yale, Columbia. That's 4.
It starts with a C, I think. I don't think it's Columbia.
That's the only Ivy League schools that I know of.
Oh my gosh, what school is it? I don't know. I'll ask her later. Like, what school do you go to? Well, that's a reasonable question to ask, but I can't believe they didn't choose Harvard or Yale. Like, those are like
yeah,
good. Like,
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I don't know. I forget what I was going to say already. You go on ahead.
I'm just saying, like, if you go to Harvard, it's like...
Yeah, it's pretty much, like, in the bag. Like, for the rest of your life. Like, even if you, like, play easy for the rest of your life, you're going to be well off.
Yeah. That's their reasoning. She went in undecided, but my older cousin, who's already at college, she's undecided, but and I think they didn't have... She wanted to be some sort of animal, like veterinarian or something, but they didn't have the best program. But it's kind of like you're going to an Ivy League school, so it doesn't even like you went to an Ivy League school. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, let me look up what college did Andy go to in the office.
Some premium quality content for all of you guys. We have to like Google up like what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, what? Oh, Cornell. Yeah, she goes to Cornell.
Oh, Cornell. Yeah, no wonder why I didn't know what I was talking about.
Yeah. He's like, I went to Cornell, and now I work at a paper company.
Yeah, exactly.
And they hit his what was it? His ringtone was him and his buddies like harmonizing.
Yeah.
Someone hit it in the like roof, and then they kept calling his phone, and he's like, "All right, guys, this isn't funny anymore." Like punched a hole through the wall.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
It's funny like whenever you like do screaming, you just like turn demon mode.
Yeah. Yeah, I developed that kind of demon speak with my friend, and like freshman year, I don't know, like if you ever meet someone who you just like you just kind of develop like a I don't know if you've ever had a friend who literally
I knew people who did that. Yeah, I mean I never really did it myself, but I knew people who were like that.
Yeah, like. It's kind of like have you ever heard the creator of Beavis and Butthead talking about like how Beavis and Butthead just sit there and they're like
yeah.
He's like it's like the creator was like he said something where it's like, you know, it's just these two guys and like they're just like telling each other jokes and they have all these inside jokes and it gets to the point where they just make a noise and the other one immediately understands what it is. It's like a joke.
Yeah.
And that's like me and my one friend. He's like we basically like we just like make a noise and it's like part of a complex joke, but like we don't even need to tell it.
I don't know.
Like we're like, oh sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I don't know. I never really was part of like a deeper inside joke like that. But like I said, I was around people who were like, I don't know, I guess you can say like I was made a friend by like, you know, being part of one of those jokes. And they literally just, and that's exactly like, you know, how it worked. It's like all they needed to do was just make this like one noise and then they start laughing. Because it was just part of like a deep, like there's like times where they just made the joke and then like they would be like laughing out loud. For no reason other than it was just like part of their larger inside joke.
Yeah, did you ever hear the joke? It's like there's a bunch of prisoners and they keep telling like the same, you know, they keep telling, they have like 15 jokes that they, you know, will just tell over and over again.
Yeah.
And it gets to the point where they all know the jokes so well that they all number the jokes, like, you know, a man walks into a bar is joke number 1, and then it gets to the point where they just sit around, and one of them says, like, number 1, and all of them go, like,
number 1.
Because they remember the joke.
Wow.
And then there's a day when someone says, number 14, am I right, guys? And then they all chuckle, and one guy starts laughing hysterically.
Wow.
And they're like, dude, what's so funny? And he's like, oh, I didn't hear that one before.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny. It's funny how the human mind can work.
Yeah.
But that kind of like mentality, I feel like represents most humor in our generation now. Because it's like, we watch all these videos online about these like little clips that were popular like on Vine, like when that was a thing, and if it's not Vine now, it's TikTok. And like there's all these like little snippets of like, of like kind of humorous value. Like you watch that and like, oh, you laugh, and sometimes you laugh out loud when it's really funny. But then like after a while, it kind of like, but then it becomes, clips become associated with other clips, with other clips. Yeah. So you can just like show like this like totally out of context thing, and then these people would just be laughing out loud because of it, because they just watched so many of these things.
There's memes where it's like...
Yeah, 21st century humor.
Like the hat, the backwards hat from that, I think it's called Scumbag Steve.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like people just Photoshop that hat on other memes, and people immediately get it. And then you don't realize, like, your parents or other people who don't understand it, like, there's memes where it's like, when you show your parents like a level 6 meme, and you have to literally explain like 12 years of internet culture to them before they get it. Like, it's like
that's it. You're totally right.
Yeah,
you're totally right.
But I think I gotta get going in like
a
few minutes.
That's totally cool. So that's probably gonna mark the end of this episode. Thank you for anyone who tuned in. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff to make sure the algorithm follows us.
Make sure to hire us as well.
Yeah, please hire us. We need money. We're poor college kids.
That should be our catchphrase.
Yeah, like, please hire us. Yeah, that would be great.
Hire us.
All right. So I think that's pretty much it. Once more, thank you for everyone who tuned in, and be sure to hire us.
Yeah, boy.
Change the world. My final message.